Hi, welcome to Iowa. This is Father Fred Shaheen. I'm your camp director, Camp St. George, Iowa. Now when I say Camp St. George, there's always a pause, and people who have been out here know you got to say something in response. Camp St. George,
Iowa.
Iowa!
Iowa.
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 Iowa!
Iowa. That became a tradition way back, affirming that the official diocesan camp of Toledo in the Midwest is Camp St. George, and it's in the state of Iowa. It's also kind of an affirmation. You guys know that expression, Iowa. You know, it's sort of like in Arabic, it's an approval. You know, it's affirming something. So whenever we say Camp St. George, you want to say Iowa or Iowa, however you want to say it. So since 2001, that's when the camp was established. And Father Paul Baba, who was the priest here at St. George, where I'm the pastor today, in Cedar Rapids, he was the first camp director. After Father Paul, we had Father Patrick Kinder of blessed memory. He directed the camp till 2015 when I came aboard in that role. So we look forward, as you can imagine, every year gathering together, seeing each other, all of the staff, the counselors, the campers, and their families. We look forward to that 1 week a year. And for us, it's early July. Camp St. George meets in Strawberry Point, Iowa, at a campground called Iwalu. And as you visit us today, we want to share a little bit of that Camp St. George flavor with you. What makes us unique? What makes it special? I've also asked everybody to think about their favorite memory. So what's your favorite memory from all of your time at Camp St. George? If I had to think about that, what's my favorite memory? Well, I would have to say it was the time Bishop Antoon visited. In 2015, we got an unexpected visit from His Grace, Bishop Antoon of thrice blessed memory. Happened to be in Iowa, and when I talked to him, I asked him if he'd come out and see the camp, and he arranged to get out there. So we received Bishop Antoon. We had him for a couple of hours. He joined us in the campfire circle, and he fielded questions from the campers. So we had Ask Sayedna with Bishop Antoon. As you could imagine, his wisdom, his unmatched sense of humor, and his just folksy ways were incomparable. It was a really special time, and we're glad we got to have that. Left a memory and a good impression on me, and when I think about that special memory, that comes to mind. I'm going to let the others share what's special about Camp St. George, Iowa, with you. We wish you were here in person, and I hope after today you'll come and visit us sometime. I'm thankful for all of my staff, all of the counselors, all of the campers and their families, and the people that donate and give their time, the volunteers, to make camp happen. Camp works, and I'm blessed and humbled to be a part of it. So on behalf of everybody, I'm going to say goodbye for now. There's Villy. There's Prince. And I'm Father Fred. We'll see you again. Bye-bye.
Hello everybody, my name is Andrew Prego. I'm the Assistant Director of Camp St. George, Iowa. I've had the pleasure for the last 6 years to be able to help and support the running of Camp St. George with my fabulous group of senior staff and counselors. We're looking forward to another great year, although this year will be looking a little bit different. But next year, we're looking forward to a fabulous 2021. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy your trip to Camp St. George, Iowa.
Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to our field trip today. I'm super excited to be together and to be hanging out with you this afternoon. I think it's really awesome that this year we get to have camp with campers all over the whole country. So hey, super happy to have you here. All right, so a little bit about me. My name is Anna, and I get to be the program director at Camp St. George.
Iowa!
which means that I get to work with all of our counselors and all of our campers and get to think about all these fun things that make camp exciting and safe and cool and fun, and that everyone has a really great time. So I first went to Camp St. George in 2015. So this is my 6th summer with Camp St. George. Before that, I grew up as a camper at Antiochian Village and worked at Antiochian Village for 3 summers. I also got to work at Camp St. Thecla for 1 summer. So I was really excited to go to Camp St. George for the first time because it's located in the Midwest and I live and grew up in the Midwest. And so it was really fun for me to meet other campers and counselors who also live in the same area that I do. What I love about camp, I've always loved camp since I was 9 years old until now. I'm 29 years old now, so for 20 years camp has been in my life and it's always been so special and so exciting. What I love about camp is that it's a place where I've always been able to go and just be totally myself. I can have so much fun and laugh so hard. I can also be super reflective and thoughtful and get to know myself in a totally different way than I can anywhere else. I can pray and I can talk about my faith with friends. I can talk about, things that I love, and I can also learn what other people like too. Everyone that I've met at camp is so different and has so many different interests and personalities, but at the end of the day, we have this unity around our faith. And I think that's a really beautiful thing, and it's so special and why I keep coming back every year. But this year, since we're all at home and we're apart, I think it's important to remember what makes camp special that we also can do at our homes. And that is things like this. So I hope that on this field trip today, you're learning more about another camp in our country that is Orthodox and has a whole nother family within our big family of Orthodox Christians. So morning program is one of our programs that happens in the morning, and specifically it focuses on opportunities to learn more about our faith and what we believe and about Christ. One thing that's really special, I think, about our program is that we focus a lot on our cabin family, and that our family is like a little church. So really the day starts in our cabin. In the morning we wake up, we get out of our bunks, we go right to our prayer corner and we say morning prayers together as a cabin. And then after chores, we go to Matins where we have our morning prayers, our morning prayer service with Father Fred. And then we go to breakfast and then morning program activities, which includes Christian Ed and another activity. So Christian Ed will be a lesson learning about our faith and about various things to help us understand Orthodoxy better. And then our second activity is anything from a nature walk to learning about the saints to chanting or an Ask Abuna session with Father Fred. Really, it's an opportunity to just kind of pause and reflect on who God is in our life and what our faith is, and an opportunity to just stop and pause and think and connect with ourselves and connect with each other and to connect with God.
Hey everyone, my name's Tony. I've been going to Camp St. George for quite a few years. Started out as a camper, eventually became a counselor, spent 1 year as senior male counselor as well as evening program director. Probably one of my favorite memories from camp has to be some of the activities we did. Playing Newcomb on the sand volleyball court or angle ball out in the field, as well as more recently, more of a counselor memory is getting to see a bunch of my old campers recently at a wedding and them telling me that they became a counselor because of what I did and how I was with them, which was really cool to hear. And so Camp St. George has meant a lot to me over the years. It was a way to build my own little Orthodox community in a sense where now I have friends all over the place, where I can go to Madison, Minneapolis, Chicago, Indianapolis, Indiana, Michigan, and always know someone in the area. And I still talk to today. So Camp St. George has really meant a lot to me.
Hey there, I'm Daria, and I'm the admin director for Camp St. George,
Iowa!
Which means that most of my work happens well before camp happens. If you're sending in an application, that comes to me. If you're sending in a payment, that comes to me. And if you have any questions prior to camp, those come to me as well. I work with the members of our head staff prior to camp and during camp to help make sure that everything runs as smoothly as possible. At camp on the first day, you'll find me behind the registration table. I'll be the one who's telling campers who their counselors are, what cabin they're in, and welcoming campers and their parents to camp. Each day during the church services, you'll find me behind the chanter stand, and I'll have my handy dandy dry erase board and marker with me. The dry erase board is so that I can make sure everybody knows what tone we're in and what page we're currently on. It is my joy to lead the music and to hear the campers' beautiful voices each day during the services. Throughout the week, you might find me teaching Christian Ed during the morning program. You might find me joining in on various activities throughout the day. You might find me tidying up the arts and crafts room after afternoon program. I'm at camp as part of the support team for the campers and the staff, and I love doing this each and every summer. Camp St. George, Iowa.
Camp is like my second home, and I love doing the Leap of Faith. Camp is the week that I look forward the most to all year, and my favorite memory is going to the pool with my friends during free time.
Big part of the camp experience, as you could probably imagine, is being in church. We are an Orthodox church camp here at Camp St. George, and we certainly play together and enjoy fellowship, fun, learning, and sports and games, and the wonders of nature in the camp setting. But most importantly, we pray together and we worship as the church. First thing in the morning as a camp, we celebrate Orthros or Matins. And then in the evening, we typically do Vespers, the evening prayer, right around the dinner hour. And that's a daily Vesper services. There's one day in the week, typically at a camp week, depending on how the days fall, where we celebrate Divine Liturgy together. And that's an opportunity for the camp to receive the sacrament, Holy Communion, and it's celebratory. And we usually have a picnic or a feast in conjunction with that. And something that's kind of particular here at the camp, we do supplication services. That'll be on an evening where we don't do Vespers. We'll take one night out of the week, and instead of doing a Vesper service at the dinner hour, we'll do an outdoor service to St. George, who's the patron saint of our camp, or maybe St. Raphael. Worship, prayer, and services is a big part. We might even say the most important thing that we do as a camp, because we are Orthodox, we love God, and we worship Him, and we come to camp to do that, to fuel the energy we need for all the other wonderful things.
So we've been going to camp for about 7 years. This summer would have been our 7th year. And my favorite memory from camp is 2 summers ago, I think. Me and a couple of my friends couldn't sleep, so I was on the top bunk, Courtney was on the bottom, and Nora was a few beds over. And we were just talking for a while, and then we decided to try and go to sleep. But I thought it'd be a good idea to try and scare Courtney. And I thought the best way to do that was by sticking my head through the bunk ladder. And I ended up getting stuck, and so we had to wake up JoJo, who's one of our counselors. And before she helped me, she took a picture of us, and it's still one of my favorite pictures.
My favorite camp memory was last year when the oldest cabins went on a camping trip and stayed a night in the woods. It was just a very fun experience, a nice bonding time for my cabin individually, and a bonding time between our sister cabin as well.
Hey Camp St. George, friends and family. I'm Ellie, that's Sophie. I'm the afternoon program director here at Camp St. George,
Iowa.
I've been with the camp for a really long time. I've been doing director positions. I also lead the women's side of camp. But there's something unique about me in particular in that I was actually a camper at Camp St. George during the very first years of camp. So this is actually, I had to dig this out. This is the very first Camp St. George camp shirt ever. Some of you may not know, the first time I wore this shirt, I actually wasn't Orthodox yet. So that's what makes Camp St. George really special to me, in that I came to camp for the first time and I got to meet all of these people who were my age and were Orthodox, and I had this sense of community there. One thing in particular I remember from being a camper, my counselor reading the Psalms at night. So that tradition had started way back, the very first few years of camp. And I remember thinking the first night, oh, it's gonna be so hard for me to fall asleep. This is too much. And then suddenly I was out. And then every night after that, as soon as the counselor started reading the Psalms, I just remember this wave of peace coming over me, and I was asleep almost instantly. It was just a beautiful experience to be a part of. And I remember my first few years as counselors, and I got to do that same thing back to the kids and read that, and I remember my voice just getting hoarse as I would read it in the night. And slowly the kids would rustle a little bit less and less, and you could really tell when the kids started to fall asleep, and it's just being such a peaceful, hard work, but beautiful experience. And then one year I had this cabin that was a smaller cabin, but it was all the oldest girls. And we had some of the girls offering to read the Psalms at night, and it was like I was back a camper again, and I got to hear it and let that peace wash over me while these all these kids who were so much more spiritual than me were reading the Psalms to me at night. It was beautiful. So that's what I get out of camp. That's what I see, feeling that community, that sense of orthodoxy, just weave throughout the camp. It's that culture that's beautiful. My particular position, afternoon program, we do a lot of sports. I organize the kids' choices into different activities, so they get to pick from a bunch of different activities to do. We have Creek Stomp, where you go and you wade through the creek and you play with rubber duckies out there, and sit on a bridge and hang out and talk to your friends. There's Nukem and volleyball, lots of different sports. One of the cool things about the camp that we're at now is we have a farm, and so you can go and play with these farm animals. So with that, this is the first year of us doing a virtual camp. We knew we wanted to do something to carry on that culture, the community, and the peace that comes along with everything Camp St. George. And we look forward to when we can get together in person and give each other a side hug.
Hey everybody, I'm Mike from St. George and Cicero. I started going to Camp St. George back in 2004, and I was a camper all the way through 2009. And then I was able to become a counselor in 2011, and I was a counselor all the way until 2016, and then I was also the afternoon program director in 2015. Camp has meant a lot to me throughout all the years. Moving around a lot as a priest kid, I was able to meet a lot of new friends when I moved to Iowa for the first time, and then growing up and keeping in touch with all these campers, and then eventually meeting my wife through Camp St. George. That has probably been my most memorable experience at camp. And for everyone that goes to camp, I would say just enjoy the time you have, because it's the best time you'll ever have.
Camp to me, it's just a place to connect to God and meet new and old friends. It's a place to foster your faith with those around you, and most of all, to me, camp is like a second home.
And for me, growing up, it was just like a really magical place for me, like where I could be with good friends, have services every morning. It's just some of my best memories growing up are from camp. And then when I got to be on staff, it was just a nice experience to be able to give back what I had experienced and be a part of that, and get to be in the memories of some of my young campers to help make that experience possible for them.
Hi everybody, my name is Rahaf Farhani and I'm the Evening Program Director at Camp St. George,
Iowa!
I've been going to camp for about 10 years and this would have been my 5th year as Evening Program Director. Before that I was a counselor and then as well as a camper. So evening program is what happens after dinner every night. So we'll start off the week with Madness. So Madness is this game where every cabin is chasing a different cabin. So one cabin will chase this cabin while that cabin is chasing someone else, and so on. It's a crazy game, and that's why it's called Madness. The second day is usually when we'll do our campfire, which is one of my favorite nights of the week. We'll do just a big group campfire. We'll sing songs, we'll make s'mores. The counselors and the staff lead the songs, and it's just a fun time for everybody. We'll also sing the Camp St. George song, which is very important to us. The third day is usually when we'll do just like Olympic style games or scavenger hunt or color wars. Last year we did a bunch of minute to win it games, which was our color wars, and then the winning team got to pie someone on staff in the face. I got pied in the face by a counselor. What I really love about Camp St. George is the fact that we actually run during the week of the 4th of July. So to do something special for that, we actually took our entire camp off property to Independence, Iowa. How crazy is that? Independence, Iowa for Independence Day. And we go and we watch fireworks. So we'll load everybody up on a bus and we'll drive down. It's about 45 minutes away from us, and we'll watch the fireworks. We'll be there for about 3 hours. There's a lot of downtime before the fireworks actually start, so we'll just hang out, play some card games, run around, anything just to kill the time until the fireworks start, and then we'll watch the fireworks, which is about a 30-minute show. And then we'll pack everybody back up on the bus and we'll go home. And then the last day is when we usually do our big pool party during the afternoon. So it's evening program during the day technically, and we'll have about 3 hours. It's just chilling at the pool, and you can play around, you can swim, you can just tan if you want, but the really big thing that we do is the big splash contest, and anyone can participate in that, staff, priests, but of course campers. And it's just a big thing that people practice for all week because they want to be the big splash champion towards the end of the week. And we actually started something a couple years ago called the Littlest Splash, because I actually wanted to participate in the Big Splash contest, but when I did jump in, everyone was like, there was literally no splash. And that's how the Littlest Splash contest started. So that same night, we'll end up doing something that is song related or singing related or dancing. So we'll usually do a dance party, but last year we actually did 2 things. We did a lip sync battle before the dance party, and we just had all the different cabins pick a song, and they just went full out, and it was really funny to watch. And then after that, we just had our big dance party where everybody jams out and everybody goes crazy, and it's a lot of fun. And then we all usually like to close it off by singing the camp song again, which you will hear in a little bit. It's very important to us. It was written by Father Patrick. And thank you for coming and visiting our camp. I hope you learned a lot about the evening program, and we hope to see you sometime next year.
Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question but a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. So take the photographs and still frames in your mind, hanging on a shelf in good health and good time. Tattoos and memories and dead skin on trial. For what it's worth, it was worth all the while. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. Something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you had the time of your life. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life.
Iowa.